I want to start with something that surprised even me. For weeks, I took just 5 grams a day, no extreme routines, no drastic changes to my meals, no new workout plan. And yet, within a short period of time, my body began responding in ways I hadn't seen in years. My joints felt calmer, my energy felt steadier, fat started letting go more easily, and my muscles began responding again. What surprised me most wasn't how fast things changed, it was why they changed. Because I didn't start by chasing muscle, I didn't start by forcing fat loss. I started by paying attention to something most people completely overlook. Inflammation. Many people think inflammation is just stiffness in the morning or sore joints after activity. But in reality, it's much deeper than that. Low-grade inflammation quietly influences how your body stores fat, how it breaks down muscle, how sensitive you are to insulin, and even how quickly you feel older. As we age, this internal inflammation becomes easier to trigger and harder to shut off. And when it stays active, it sends a constant signal to the body. Protect, store, slow down. That signal makes fat harder to lose, even if you eat carefully. It makes muscle harder to build, even if you stay active. What caught my attention is what researchers noticed when inflammation was addressed first. When inflammation calmed down, the body didn't have to be forced. Fat loss followed more naturally, muscle responded again, recovery improved. And what made this even more interesting was the amount used in these studies. Not large doses, not complicated stacks, just 5 grams a day. At that level, certain natural compounds showed the ability to gently calm inflammatory pathways while supporting signals related to muscle maintenance, recovery, and metabolic balance. Researchers tracked changes in markers linked to inflammation, insulin response, and muscle signaling. And the pattern was consistent. Lower inflammation first, then the rest follows. So I decided to test this approach for myself. Over a period of time, I tried 5 different compounds, each taken at the same daily amount, 5 grams. Some made a small difference, some worked better than expected, but one stood out so clearly that researchers repeated trials just to be sure the results were real. In this video, I want to walk you through all 5, ranked from least noticeable to most impactful, so you can understand what they do and how they're commonly used. And I recommend staying with me until the end, because the final one has been studied for its ability to support inflammation balance, muscle response, and body composition at the same time. For transparency, the research behind these observations is available in the video description. Before we continue, let me ask you something. How old are you, and where are you watching from today? Your experiences matter more than you might think. Many people discover helpful patterns simply by learning from one another. Now, let's begin with number 5, the first compound that showed promise, but only hinted at what was possible. Number 5. MSM. This is where the journey started. MSM is a naturally occurring sulfur compound. Sulfur plays a quiet but essential role in how the body maintains connective tissue, joint comfort, and overall movement. Many people don't realize that as diets become more processed over time, sulfur intake often drops, and the body notices. When MSM is taken consistently, many people describe a gradual easing of stiffness and a calmer response from joints and muscles. At around 5 grams a day, often mixed in warm water earlier in the day, MSM has been observed to support the body's natural inflammatory balance. Sulfur is also a building block for collagen-related structures, which means its influence may extend beyond joints to skin, hair, and nails as well. In observational research settings, people using similar amounts reported improved physical comfort and smoother movement over time. What's also interesting is that MSM appears to support how nutrients move in and out of cells, which may explain why some people notice feeling lighter or less sluggish after a short period of consistent use. Many prefer to combine MSM with vitamin C, as this pairing is commonly used to support absorption. The effects aren't dramatic overnight, they're gradual, but for many, the first noticeable change is simple. Moving feels easier again, and that's important, because when the body moves more comfortably, everything else becomes possible. But MSM is only the beginning, because the next compound works while you're resting and supports one of the most important processes your body relies on as you age. Now let's move to number 4. This is where things started to feel very different, not just during the day, but at night, because this compound doesn't work while you're active, it works while you sleep. Number 4. Glycine. Glycine is a simple amino acid, but its role in the body is anything but small. Your body uses glycine to help build collagen, support muscle tissue, and maintain one of its most important internal defense systems. But what makes glycine especially interesting after 50 or 60 is how it interacts with sleep and recovery. As we age, deep sleep becomes shorter and more fragmented. And deep sleep is when the body does most of its repair work. This includes muscle recovery, tissue renewal, hormonal balance, inflammation regulation. When researchers looked at people using around 5 grams of glycine before bed, they noticed something important. People didn't just fall asleep more easily. They spent more time in deeper sleep phases, the stages most closely associated with physical recovery. Glycine gently helps the body lower its core temperature, which is one of the natural signals the brain uses to initiate sleep. At the same time, it supports a calmer nervous system response, helping the mind slow down rather than race. Many people describe it as feeling more settled at night, not sedated, just ready for rest. What's also notable is what happens the next day. In nutritional research settings, people supplementing with glycine showed improvements in how their bodies handled glucose, which plays a role in energy stability and fat storage. Others reported waking up clearer, less stiff, and more mentally focused. Because glycine is involved in collagen formation, consistent use has also been associated with improvements in skin elasticity and joint comfort over time, even without changing activity levels. Most people take glycine dissolved in a small amount of warm water about an hour before bed. It has a mild, slightly sweet taste and is generally easy to tolerate. Some choose to add it to a calming evening tea, making it part of a nighttime routine rather than a supplement. What makes glycine different from typical sleep aids is that it doesn't force sleep. It supports the conditions your body already uses to rest and recover. And when sleep improves, everything else follows. Recovery feels faster, muscles respond better. Daytime energy feels steadier. By this point, inflammation is calming. Sleep quality is improving. Now the body is ready for something else, nourishment. Because the next compound doesn't work mainly through sleep or joints, it works by feeding your muscles directly. Number 3. Spirulina. This is where nutrition density enters the picture. Spirulina is a blue-green algae that's been studied for decades due to how concentrated its nutrients are. Gram for gram, it provides more usable nutrition than most whole foods. At around 5 grams per day, spirulina delivers highly absorbable protein, natural antioxidants, minerals and micronutrients that support muscle and metabolic function. One of the compounds found in spirulina is known for helping the body manage inflammatory responses. Researchers observing its use noted reductions in markers commonly associated with physical stress and recovery demands. What makes spirulina unique is how efficiently the body uses it. The protein in spirulina is absorbed at a much higher rate than many traditional protein sources, meaning less strain on digestion and more direct support for muscle tissue. Many people take spirulina earlier in the day, often mixed in water or a smoothie, as it tends to support alertness and steady energy rather than relaxation. Some people notice fewer cravings, more consistent stamina, and improved recovery from physical activity within the first few weeks of regular use. Because spirulina is also rich in chlorophyll, it has been observed to support the body's natural detox pathways, which may explain why some people feel lighter or less sluggish as time goes on. Quality matters here. Most people look for spirulina that's been tested for purity and sourced responsibly, as lower quality products may not provide the same experience. By now, three things are happening together. Inflammation is quieter, sleep is deeper, nutrition is more efficiently delivered, and that creates the perfect environment for the next step. Because the next compound focuses on structure, the framework that holds everything together. Sulfur is also a building block for collagen-related structures, which means its influence may extend beyond joints to skin, hair, and nails as well. In observational research settings, people using similar amounts reported improved physical comfort and smoother movement over time. What's also interesting is that MSM appears to support how nutrients move in and out of cells, which may explain why some people notice feeling lighter or less sluggish after a short period of consistent use. Many prefer to combine MSM with vitamin C, as this pairing is commonly used to support absorption. The effects aren't dramatic overnight, they're gradual, but for many, the first noticeable change is simple. Moving feels easier again, and that's important because when the body moves more comfortably, everything else becomes possible. But MSM is only the beginning, because the next compound works while you're resting and supports one of the most important processes your body relies on as you age. By this point, three major things are already happening. Inflammation is quieter, sleep is deeper, nutrition is finally being absorbed the way it should. Now the body is ready for something more structural, because strength doesn't just come from energy, it comes from what holds everything together. Number 2. Collagen peptides. Collagen peptides are not about trends, they're about replacement. After the age of 25, the body slowly produces less collagen every year, and after 50, that decline accelerates. Collagen is not just skin, it's tendons, ligaments, cartilage, connective tissue, and the scaffolding that allows muscles to function properly. When that structure weakens, everything feels harder. Joints feel less stable, muscles recover slower, small injuries linger longer. Collagen peptides are different from regular collagen because they're already broken down into smaller units your body can absorb immediately. At a daily intake of around 5 grams, studies have shown improvements in joint comfort, flexibility, and physical performance, even when exercise routines stay the same. What surprised researchers was how collagen influenced muscle response. Participants using collagen peptides showed better strength gains and faster recovery, not because collagen builds muscle directly, but because it improves the quality of the connective tissue muscles rely on. Think of it like reinforcing the cables and joints of a machine before pushing it harder. Collagen also increases feelings of fullness, which can quietly reduce overeating without conscious restriction. And because collagen is rich in glycine and proline, it works synergistically with the earlier compounds to support sleep and tissue repair. Most people take collagen peptides mixed into coffee, tea, or a smoothie. They're neutral in taste and dissolve easily. Many notice changes in joints first, then skin texture, then how their body feels during movement. But structure alone isn't enough. The final compound doesn't just support your body, it upgrades how it produces energy. Number 1. Creatine monohydrate. Creatine is one of the most researched compounds in human nutrition. And despite its reputation, it's not just for athletes. Your muscles use creatine to produce quick, usable energy. But as you age, your natural creatine stores decline. That means less strength, faster fatigue, slower recovery. When people take 5 grams of creatine daily, muscle cells increase their energy availability. This allows muscles to work harder, recover faster, and resist breakdown. What shocked researchers was what happened in older adults. Studies showed that creatine supplementation helped restore muscle mass, strength, and functional movement, even without changing exercise volume. But creatine doesn't just act on muscles. It also supports brain energy metabolism. The brain uses the same energy system as muscles. That's why many people report improved focus, memory, and mental stamina after consistent use. Creatine also helps reduce inflammatory stress indirectly by improving cellular energy efficiency. When cells have enough energy, they repair damage instead of accumulating it. There's no need for loading phases or complex protocols. Just 5 grams daily, consistently. Taken with a meal or after activity, it gradually saturates muscle tissue over about 2 weeks. The safety profile of creatine is one of the strongest in nutrition science, with long-term studies showing no negative effects in healthy individuals. By this point, the system is complete. The synergy. Each compound works on its own, but together they create something different. MSM reduces background inflammation. Glycine improves sleep and recovery. Spirulina feeds muscles efficiently. Collagen rebuilds structure. Creatine powers the engine. Inflammation drops first. Then fat loss becomes easier. Then muscle growth finally responds. Not because you trained harder, not because you starved yourself, but because the body stopped fighting itself. 5 grams, each day, consistently. That's the order most people miss. And once you understand that order, progress stops feeling like a struggle. If this breakdown helped you see things differently, make sure you stay subscribed. More science-backed strategies are coming, without hype, without extremes. Until next time, stay consistent. Sulfur is also a building block for collagen-related structures, which means its influence may extend beyond joints to skin, hair, and nails as well. In observational research settings, people using similar amounts reported improved physical comfort and smoother movement over time. What's also interesting is that MSM appears to support how nutrients move in and out of cells, which may explain why some people notice feeling lighter or less sluggish after a short period of consistent use. Many prefer to combine MSM with vitamin C, as this pairing is commonly used to support absorption. The effects aren't dramatic overnight, they're gradual. But for many, the first noticeable change is simple. Moving feels easier again. And that's important, because when the body moves more comfortably, everything else becomes possible. But MSM is only the beginning, because the next compound works while you're resting and supports one of the most important processes your body relies on as you age.